In life, we often encounter people who seem to drain our energy, our resources, and sometimes even our very identity. When we become entangled in relationships with narcissists, we find ourselves in a destructive cycle where our efforts to sustain the relationship seem to lead only to more suffering. But what happens when you take steps the narcissist never expected? What happens when you find your strength, assert your boundaries, and choose your well-being over their demands? In this video, we will explore 8 actions that narcissists never thought you would take. Actions that will not only help you break free, but also make them regret underestimating you. If you have ever struggled in a relationship with a narcissist, or if you are still in the process of understanding the impact such relationships have had on your life, this video is for you. These steps aren't just about breaking free from a toxic relationship. They are about rediscovering yourself, your value, and your inner strength. Stay with us until the end to learn how each of these actions can empower you to live a life that is true to yourself, beyond the reach of narcissistic influence. By the end of this video, you will have gained insights that will not only transform your perspective, but also help you emerge stronger than ever. 1. You set firm boundaries and enforce them. In relationships with narcissists, boundaries are often blurred or completely disregarded. Narcissists are experts at crossing lines, gradually pushing the limits of what is acceptable until there seems to be no boundary left at all. But what happens when you reclaim your right to set and enforce boundaries? How does the act of drawing a line in the sand change the dynamics of the relationship? This is something that the narcissist never anticipated. Why boundaries matter. Stoicism teaches us the value of self-control and the importance of understanding what we can and cannot change. When it comes to dealing with a narcissist, one of the few things within our control is our personal boundaries. Setting boundaries is not about changing the other person. It is about taking responsibility for how we allow others to treat us. By setting firm boundaries, you communicate to the narcissist that you will no longer tolerate their harmful behavior. This act of self-respect often comes as a shock to them, as they are used to having free rein over your emotional and mental space. The narcissist's reaction to boundaries. When you begin to set boundaries, expect pushback. Narcissists see boundaries as threats to their control, and they may react with anger, manipulation, or even attempts to guilt you into reverting to old patterns. However, their reaction is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. On the contrary, it is evidence that you are taking a stand for your own well-being, something the narcissist never thought you would do. How often have you found yourself bending your limits just to keep the peace? Did you feel guilty for saying no, even when you knew you were overextending yourself? Setting boundaries requires you to let go of the fear of disappointing others and embrace the freedom that comes from honoring your own needs. Stoicism and boundaries. In the philosophy of Stoicism, setting boundaries can be seen as an act of virtue. It requires the courage to assert your needs, the wisdom to recognize your limits, and the discipline to maintain those boundaries even when it's uncomfortable. By practicing these principles, you can strengthen your resolve and cultivate a sense of inner peace that remains unaffected by external chaos. As you learn to enforce your boundaries, you will notice changes in your interactions, not just with the narcissist, but with others as well. People who truly respect you will understand and honor your boundaries, while those who are offended may reveal their true intentions. This clarity can be liberating, allowing you to focus on relationships that nourish your growth instead of draining your energy. Remember, the act of setting boundaries is not about rejecting others. It's about affirming your right to be treated with respect. Transition. The power to establish and maintain boundaries lays the foundation for reclaiming your autonomy. The next step is to focus on healing and self-care, which is another area where narcissists never expected you to succeed. 2. You prioritized your own healing and self-care. Narcissists expect you to be forever caught in the web of their manipulation, leaving you emotionally drained and dependent on their approval. What they did not anticipate is your ability to step away and prioritize your own healing. This act of self-care is not only a declaration of independence, but also a profound step towards reclaiming your life. The path to healing. How does one begin to heal after enduring a toxic relationship? Healing starts by acknowledging the harm that was done and accepting the responsibility to mend oneself. Stoicism reminds us that while we cannot change the actions of others, we can change how we respond to them. By choosing to heal, you take control of your inner state, deciding to restore your peace and well-being. Taking time for yourself is not a selfish act. It is a necessary step to regain strength, whether it's through meditation, therapy, exercise, or spending time with supportive friends. Self-care is about rebuilding the parts of yourself that were neglected or harmed during the relationship. It's about learning to love yourself again, to trust your own judgment, and to live in a way that honors your values. Why healing threatens the narcissist. A healed person is a free person. When you prioritize your well-being, the narcissist loses their hold over you. They can no longer manipulate your emotions or keep you dependent on their validation. This loss of control is deeply unsettling for them because their sense of superiority depends on keeping others subservient and emotionally unstable. Narcissists often dismiss self-care as unnecessary or accuse you of being selfish for focusing on your own needs. But in reality, their objections reveal their fear of losing control. Each act of self-care is a step towards independence, a step that the narcissist never thought you would take. The role of Stoicism in healing. Stoicism encourages us to develop resilience in the face of adversity. Healing after narcissistic abuse is a journey that requires perseverance and inner strength. It involves letting go of what we cannot control, such as the narcissist's actions, and focusing on what we can change, our thoughts, emotions, and responses. Have you ever considered that your suffering could be an opportunity for growth? Stoic philosophers would argue that it is through overcoming challenges that we discover our true strength. By choosing to heal, you not only recover from the past, but also cultivate virtues like courage, patience, and self-discipline. As you continue on your path of healing, remember that this journey is unique to you. There is no set timeline for recovery, and it is okay to have setbacks. What matters is that you are moving forward, day by day, towards a life where you are no longer defined by the pain of the past. Transition. Healing yourself is a powerful act of self-liberation, but to truly regain your freedom, you must also seek to understand the dynamics that kept you trapped in the first place. This leads us to the next crucial step: educating yourself about narcissism. 3. You educated yourself about narcissism. Knowledge is power. When you educate yourself about narcissism, you equip yourself with the tools to recognize manipulation, understand the dynamics of toxic relationships, and ultimately protect yourself from future harm. The narcissist never expected you to seek out information that would expose their tactics, yet this is one of the most empowering steps you can take. The importance of self-education. The decision to learn about narcissism often comes after reaching a point of desperation, when you can no longer ignore the confusion, pain, and emotional turmoil in your life. By researching and understanding the traits of narcissism, the patterns of abuse, and the psychological mechanisms behind these behaviors, you gain clarity. You realize that the problem is not you. It is the toxic relationship that distorted your sense of reality. Have you ever wondered why you felt so drained after every interaction with the narcissist? Or why you kept questioning your own reality? Educating yourself helps you understand these experiences. It validates your feelings and offers explanations for the behaviors you encountered. This newfound knowledge can be both a relief and a catalyst for change. Why the narcissist fears your awareness. When you become aware of the manipulation tactics used against you, the narcissist loses one of their greatest weapons, your ignorance. They rely on your lack of understanding to maintain control, using tactics like gaslighting, blame shifting, and triangulation to keep you off balance. But once you learn to recognize these tactics for what they are, you take away their power. The more you educate yourself, the less susceptible you become to the narcissist's games. You learn to see through their facade, recognize their attempts to provoke you, and refuse to be drawn into their drama. This shift in perspective is something they never anticipated because they never believed you would question their version of reality. Stoicism and the pursuit of knowledge. In Stoicism, wisdom is one of the cardinal virtues. The pursuit of knowledge is seen as essential for living a virtuous life. When you educate yourself about narcissism, you are not merely gathering information, you are seeking wisdom that will guide you towards a life of greater clarity, strength, and purpose. Does the knowledge of narcissism not only liberate you, but also enable you to help others who may be experiencing the same struggles? The Stoic way would encourage you to share your insights and support those who are still in the darkness of toxic relationships. By doing so, you turn your experience of suffering into a source of strength for others. Understanding the nature of narcissism transforms your perception. It allows you to see that the chaos was never a reflection of your worth, but rather the manifestation of the narcissist's unresolved issues. This realization is empowering as it helps you move from being a victim to becoming a survivor and a teacher. Transition. Now that you understand the nature of the narcissist's behavior, the next step is to free yourself from their hold entirely. This means embracing radical acceptance and letting go of the need for closure. 4. You embraced radical acceptance and let go of the past. Letting go of the past can be one of the most challenging steps when recovering from a toxic relationship, especially with a narcissist. Narcissists often rely on keeping their victims attached to memories, unresolved emotions, and the need for closure. What they never anticipated is that you would embrace radical acceptance, freeing yourself from the chains of the past. This step is not only liberating but also transformative, as it allows you to move forward with clarity and strength. What is radical acceptance? Radical acceptance is the complete and total acceptance of reality as it is, without fighting it or wishing it were different. It does not mean that you approve of what happened, nor does it mean you condone the narcissist's behavior. Instead, it means you acknowledge the truth of the situation and accept that some things are beyond your control. This acceptance allows you to stop resisting reality and start focusing on what you can change, your thoughts, actions, and future. Have you ever found yourself replaying events in your mind, wishing things had gone differently? Did you feel the constant urge to seek closure or an apology that never came? Radical acceptance frees you from these endless cycles by allowing you to come to terms with the fact that some situations will never be fully resolved. The narcissist may never acknowledge their wrongdoings, and closure may never be provided. By letting go of these expectations, you can finally begin to heal. How radical acceptance threatens the narcissist's control. Narcissists thrive on keeping you in a state of emotional turmoil, where you constantly seek validation, explanations, or closure from them. This dynamic keeps you bound to the relationship, always looking for answers that they will never provide. When you embrace radical acceptance, you break this cycle. You stop looking to the narcissist for validation and start finding peace within yourself. The narcissist never anticipated that you would accept the past without needing them to explain or justify their behavior. They rely on the belief that you will always be emotionally invested in what happened. When you choose to let go, it disrupts their control over you, as they no longer have the power to provoke reactions or keep you emotionally tethered to them. Stoicism and letting go. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot. This principle aligns perfectly with the practice of radical acceptance. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." In letting go of the past, you embrace this teaching, shifting your attention from the narcissist's actions to your own responses. You begin to reclaim your peace of mind, knowing that your happiness is not dependent on external circumstances, but on your inner state. Is it not true that holding on to anger, resentment, or the need for closure only prolongs your suffering? Stoicism would urge you to release these burdens, as they hinder your growth and prevent you from living in the present moment. When you let go of the past, you allow yourself to be free from the weight of what was, opening up space for what could be. Embracing radical acceptance does not mean that the pain disappears instantly. It is a process that takes time, patience, and practice. However, each step towards acceptance brings you closer to a place of inner peace, where the past no longer holds power over you. Transition. As you let go of the past, you also gain the strength to break free from the cycle of narcissistic abuse. The next step is refusing to re-enter this cycle, which further solidifies your commitment to a healthier and more authentic life. 5. You refuse to re-enter the cycle of abuse. One of the narcissist's most effective tactics is to lure their victims back into the cycle of abuse. They might employ charm, promises of change, or guilt-tripping to manipulate you into returning. What they never expected, however, was your ability to see through these tactics and refuse to re-engage. By choosing not to re-enter the cycle of abuse, you take a definitive step towards reclaiming your life and protecting your well-being. Understanding the cycle of abuse. The cycle of abuse often follows a predictable pattern: idealization, devaluation, and discard. During the idealization phase, the narcissist showers you with attention and affection, making you feel special and valued. This is followed by the devaluation phase, where they begin to criticize, belittle, and manipulate you. Finally, during the discard phase, they may abruptly end the relationship, leaving you feeling abandoned and confused. The cycle then repeats if you allow the narcissist back into your life. Breaking free from this cycle requires you to recognize the patterns and refuse to engage in them. It means rejecting their attempts to pull you back in, even if they come with apologies, promises, or declarations of love. By refusing to re-enter the cycle, you send a clear message. You will no longer tolerate being treated as a pawn in their manipulative games. The narcissist's fear of rejection. Narcissists thrive on the belief that they can always draw you back into their web. When you refuse to re-enter the cycle of abuse, it undermines their sense of power and control. They may react with anger, attempts at guilt-tripping, or even smear campaigns to punish you for rejecting them. However, their reactions are not a reflection of your worth, but rather a sign of their inability to handle rejection. Do you find yourself feeling guilty or second-guessing your decision to stay away? This is precisely the emotional trap the narcissist sets to draw you back in. But remember, your decision to refuse re-engagement is an act of self-respect. It shows that you have recognized the harmful patterns and chosen to prioritize your own well-being. Stoicism and the courage to walk away. The Stoics often spoke of courage as a virtue essential for living a good life. It takes courage to walk away from something familiar, even if it is harmful. It takes even more courage to resist the temptation to return when you are feeling lonely or uncertain. Stoicism teaches us to endure discomfort for the sake of our greater good and to act in accordance with our values rather than our emotions. Is it not true that by refusing to return to a toxic relationship, you demonstrate both courage and wisdom? You show the strength to stand by your principles and the foresight to avoid repeating past mistakes. This decision is a testament to your growth and self-awareness, qualities that the narcissist never thought you would develop. Refusing to re-enter the cycle of abuse may feel like a difficult choice, but it is one of the most liberating decisions you can make. It marks the end of a harmful pattern and the beginning of a new chapter where you are in control of your destiny. Transition. Breaking free from the cycle of abuse lays the groundwork for a life where you can thrive on your own terms. The next step is to rebuild your life and demonstrate the resilience the narcissist never believed you had. 6. You rebuilt your life and thrived. When a relationship with a narcissist ends, they often assume that you will be left broken, unable to function, or dependent on them for a sense of identity. What they did not foresee is your ability to rebuild your life and come back stronger than before. The process of rebuilding is not just about recovering what was lost. It is about creating a life that reflects your true values, passions, and aspirations. The journey to rebuilding. Rebuilding your life after narcissistic abuse involves more than just moving on. It requires a conscious effort to rediscover who you are outside of the relationship. This journey may involve finding new hobbies, setting new goals, building healthier relationships, or pursuing a career change. The key is to focus on areas of your life that bring you joy and fulfillment, rather than merely trying to fix what was broken. How do you begin to rebuild when everything feels like it's in pieces? Start by taking small steps. Focus on what you can control in the present moment and let go of the need for immediate results. As Stoicism teaches, the journey to a good life is built upon daily practices and continuous improvement. Each day you invest in your growth brings you closer to the life you desire. Why thriving threatens the narcissist? When you begin to thrive after the end of a toxic relationship, it disrupts the narcissist's narrative. They expect you to struggle without them, to be lost and directionless. Your success challenges their belief in their superiority and exposes the truth. You never needed them to be whole. In fact, your life improves without their influence. Narcissists often try to downplay your achievements or criticize your progress to diminish your sense of accomplishment. But remember, their words are a reflection of their own insecurities, not a measure of your worth. Each step you take towards a fulfilling life is a testament to your resilience and strength, qualities they underestimated. Stoicism and the art of thriving. Stoicism encourages us to find meaning and purpose in every aspect of life, even in adversity. When you rebuild and thrive, you are not merely surviving, you are living in accordance with your highest values. This philosophy teaches us to see challenges as opportunities for growth and to use our experiences to become better versions of ourselves. Is it not empowering to realize that your hardships have shaped you into a stronger, wiser, and more compassionate person? The Stoic approach would encourage you to embrace this newfound strength and use it to lead a life that aligns with your principles. In doing so, you not only defy the narcissist's expectations, but also set an example for others who may be on a similar path. As you continue to thrive, let your journey be a reminder that true power comes from within. The more you invest in yourself, the less influence the past has over your future. Transition. Thriving on your own terms involves setting new standards for how you will be treated by others. The next step is to learn to say no without feeling guilty, a skill that further empowers you to maintain control over your life. 7. You learned to say no. without feeling guilty. For those who have been in relationships with narcissists, saying no can feel like a forbidden act. Narcissists often exploit your desire to be helpful, generous, or accommodating, knowing that you struggle with setting boundaries. What they never expected is that you would find the strength to say no and mean it without the burden of guilt. The power of saying no. Learning to say no is one of the most empowering skills you can develop, as it allows you to prioritize your needs and protect your energy. Saying no is not about being rude or selfish. It is about acknowledging your limits and respecting your own time and well-being. When you learn to say no without feeling guilty, you break free from the habit of overextending yourself to please others. Do you often find yourself agreeing to things out of obligation rather than desire? Are there times when you say yes because you fear disappointing someone? The ability to say no is an act of self-empowerment. It is a declaration that your worth is not measured by how much you do for others, but by your own sense of self-respect. The narcissist's reaction to your assertiveness. Narcissists thrive on pushing past boundaries and exploiting your willingness to please. When you start saying no and setting clear limits, it disrupts their sense of entitlement. They may react with anger, attempts to guilt trip you, or accusations of being selfish. However, these reactions are not a reflection of your actions, but rather an indication that they can no longer manipulate you as they once did. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control the opinions or reactions of others. We can only control our own actions. In saying no, you are not responsible for the narcissist's feelings. You are responsible only for maintaining your integrity and protecting your well-being. Stoicism and self-assertion. The Stoic practice of self-discipline aligns with the ability to say no when necessary. It requires the courage to act in accordance with your values, even if it means disappointing others. This does not mean you lack compassion or empathy. Rather, it means you understand that true generosity comes from a place of abundance, not obligation. Have you ever considered that by saying no when you need to, you are preserving your energy for the things that matter most? The Stoic approach would remind you that life is too short to be lived for the approval of others. Each time you assert yourself, you take a step closer to living a life of authenticity and purpose. Learning to say no is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to your growth. It shows that you have developed the strength to prioritize your own needs and the wisdom to recognize when your boundaries are being crossed. Transition. With the ability to assert your boundaries firmly, you are ready to take the next step, exposing the truth about the narcissist to others. This step requires courage, but it is also a powerful way to reclaim your voice. 8. You exposed their true nature to others. Narcissists carefully curate their public personas to appear charming, generous, or even self-sacrificing, while hiding their true manipulative and self-serving behavior. They rely on this facade to maintain their control and power, not only over you, but over others in their social circles. When you choose to expose their true nature, revealing the reality of their actions and intentions, you challenge the very foundation of the identity they've constructed. This is a move that the narcissist never anticipated, and one that can shift the dynamics of the situation dramatically. Why exposing the narcissist matters. Sharing your experiences and revealing the truth about the narcissist is not about seeking revenge. Instead, it serves a greater purpose, empowering yourself and potentially protecting others from falling into the same trap. When you expose the narcissist's behavior, you break the silence that allows their manipulation to continue unchecked. The exposure can also be a vital step in your healing process, as it allows you to reclaim your narrative and assert the truth, rather than letting the narcissist control the story. Have you ever felt that you were the only one who saw the narcissist's true nature, while everyone else seemed to be fooled by their charming exterior? Did you find yourself doubting your own experiences because others saw the narcissist in a different light? By speaking out, you validate your own experiences and shed light on the reality that others may not see. You give voice to your truth, and in doing so, you may help others recognize similar patterns in their own relationships. The narcissist's reaction to being unmasked. When you expose a narcissist, they may react in a number of ways. They could attempt to discredit you, launch a smear campaign, or even play the victim to gain sympathy from others. Narcissists are deeply invested in maintaining their image, and any threat to it is met with resistance. However, their reaction is not an indication that you did something wrong. Rather, it is evidence that they feel threatened by the truth coming to light. Are you prepared for the possibility that the narcissist may retaliate or try to distort the facts? Stoicism teaches us to remain steadfast and unshaken by the opinions of others. When you expose the truth, you may not convince everyone, but that is not the point. The goal is to free yourself from the lies and manipulation, to speak your truth with courage, and to act in accordance with your values. Stoicism and the courage to speak the truth. Stoicism places a high value on truth and integrity. To live a virtuous life, one must be willing to stand up for what is right, even if it comes at a cost. Exposing the narcissist is an act of courage, as it involves risking backlash and judgment. However, it is also an act of justice, as it seeks to bring light to deception and empower others to see the reality of the situation. Do you not find that speaking the truth is a liberating experience, even when it is difficult? The Stoics would argue that truth is a fundamental aspect of a virtuous life. By sharing your story, you not only release yourself from the burden of secrecy, but also contribute to a culture of honesty and authenticity. In this way, your actions resonate beyond your own experience, potentially creating a ripple effect that influences others to speak out and take a stand against toxic behaviors. When you choose to expose the narcissist, you are not simply revealing their flaws. You are reclaiming your voice and standing up for your own dignity. This act of self-empowerment may not change the narcissist, but it will change you. It will help you realize that your worth is not determined by others' perceptions, but by your own character and resilience. Transition. As you reveal the truth and reclaim your voice, you may find that some relationships shift or end, but this opens the door to a new phase in your life where you prioritize your own values and well-being. Now, let's discuss how embracing this journey of self-recovery can lead to a transformation the narcissist never thought possible. Embracing the journey of self-recovery. A Stoic reflection. The path to recovery after a toxic relationship is not always straightforward. It requires a conscious effort to rebuild your life, let go of the past, and adopt practices that promote well-being and personal growth. This journey is where Stoicism can serve as a valuable guide, offering principles that encourage inner strength, self-mastery, and resilience in the face of adversity. Stoicism and the path to freedom. In Stoic philosophy, freedom is not merely the absence of external constraints, but the presence of inner tranquility and autonomy. When you free yourself from the emotional turmoil caused by the narcissist, you begin to experience a sense of liberation. This freedom is not dependent on external circumstances, but on your ability to remain undisturbed by the narcissist's actions and to govern your own mind. Do you see how your struggles can serve as opportunities for growth? The Stoics believed that adversity could be used as a tool for developing strength and wisdom. By viewing your experiences with the narcissist as lessons rather than just painful memories, you can find purpose in your suffering and emerge stronger than ever. Your journey towards healing and empowerment does not have to be walked alone. there are others who share similar experiences, and by speaking up, you help create a community where support and understanding can thrive. If this video resonates with you, share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. The 8 actions discussed in this video: setting boundaries, prioritizing self-care, educating yourself, embracing radical acceptance, refusing to re-enter the cycle of abuse, thriving on your own terms, learning to say no, and exposing the truth, represent a powerful transformation that the narcissist never anticipated. Each of these steps takes you further away from their influence and closer to a life of freedom and authenticity. Your growth serves as a reminder that you are capable of overcoming adversity and reclaiming your power. It challenges the narcissist's belief that you would always be under their control and proves that their attempts to diminish your spirit ultimately failed. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us continue creating content that inspires and empowers others on their journey of healing and self-discovery. Share your experiences in the comments below and let us know which steps resonated with you the most. Together, we can continue to grow, support one another, and cultivate the strength to live authentically. Thank you for watching, and remember, no matter what challenges you face, you have the inner strength to overcome them and thrive.